All that glitters and gold. I had money, been broke. I've been high, I've been low. I done picked it, been whole. I done prayed and been prayed.
Okay. I mean, how do you guys feel right now? You okay?
Yeah, I feel great.
You guys are good? You feel good going into this? You still want to do this? You can
Yeah.
back out now if you want.
Nope.
No.
Camera's
All
on.
We're
right.
in it.
All right.
So this is part 2 of. This might as well be episode 35. Wait, there's. You know what I mean?
Yeah, because it's separate enough. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's not just like, it's two distinctly different things.
So JP had an idea, and we're gonna roll with JP's idea. And if JP wants to elaborate on what his process was for this, then we.
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't really so much a process. I just didn't want you guys like going back and forth talking about your relationship, and then I feel like we wanted you to have your moment to talk about, get off your chest what you wanted to promote and do stuff like that, and then we can kind of go into the more vulnerable part of the episode, right? All right, so this is part 2, and my idea for that was for them to kind of like interview as a team for the second part of it versus the first part, which hopefully at this point you've already listened, is Desiree like as our official guest. But I'm gonna ask you guys some fun questions, some vulnerable questions, and we'll see how it goes, right? Does that sound good?
Yeah.
All right, I feel like I'm up at the open mic right now. Does that sound good, everybody?
Yeah.
I can't hear you. I need more laughs than that. You guys have been dating for how long now?
We started at the beginning of May,
At the beginning of May.
right after my birthday.
But you've established in the part 1 that you've known each other for 10 years.
Yep.
Right? Mm-hmm. I'm just going to dive like right in because I feel like that's the way to go about it. Like you guys, from my point of view, and obviously as being a good friend of yours, you guys just fit together, right? And it makes sense. But I know, especially with talking to you, that there's a lot of work that goes into that. And I'm sure that there's a lot of work that went into that in knowing who you are as a person before that. So if each of you kind of want to talk about whether it was previous relationships or experiences just in general.
Well, so for me, I mean, I guess like I think one of the reasons that we work so well is because we're both like very open at this stage of our lives with like who we are and what we want out of life and what we want out of a relationship together. And I think for me, that definitely came from going through some relationships that were not what I wanted and like learning in those relationships and making mistakes and learning from those mistakes. And then I also spent a lot of time by myself recently before we started dating. So like I got to really take a look inside myself on like what I wanted and what I valued and what matters most to me. And I think Desiree kind of nails all those for me, you know, like our relationship is pretty much everything that I want, you know, like, and we work on things together and we communicate, and that's super new for me, but she's very patient and I really appreciate that. And it just, I don't know, it makes it easy, you know. I wanted a relationship that has all the things we have with, and like thought that that was going to take like a lot of work and stuff, but I think with us it just kind of comes naturally right now, and what doesn't we've been working on.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
This is my turn.
Yeah, this is your turn.
I feel like, yeah, we definitely just click. And I also feel like what separates this from past relationships I've had is it's just like natural and like easy flowing, like you said, like organic and relaxed. Like I don't have anxiety if I, feel like I need to address something or talk to you about something. Like you're very receptive and listen to me, and we just talk about it, and then it's just figure it out. We just figure it out together. And I feel like I definitely spent a lot of time alone and like single and just like focused on myself. I mean, more so just like career and jumping around. I know I talked about in the first episode that I was back and forth to Florida, so I just like I wasn't as stable as I am now and like have been, and it feels just like right and easy and happy. And that's what you want in a relationship.
Yeah, of course. And obviously, like, both of you had to do a lot of work on yourselves. You both mentioned spending time alone and kind of like figuring out what you wanted and who you wanted to be. And now how, being in this relationship and contributing to each other, how do you kind of manage working on your own personal growth and growing the relationship and knowing when it's kind of time to work on one thing and time to work on another thing? Okay.
I think for me, it's like just being able to like self-regulate like my own stuff versus like seeking like validation or something from another person. Like almost just being able to like fill my own stuff up and, you know, just being able to like find my happiness like throughout just my personal life and just things that I enjoy versus like seeking that from another person. And I feel like in a relationship, it's like you're not like looking for that from the other person, but you're building a life together and like on just like a path that just goes together versus like looking for an outside, you know.
I think for me, a big part of it is like my routine in the morning, my me time there. Like sometimes she does join in on it. Like she'll meditate with me and that's fine. Like, cause we're both doing it together, but it's also still a very personal thing. Like my eyes are closed. She's not there with me. Like I'm there by myself. I think for me, a lot of how I balance it out is I take that time every morning for myself. Like she's knows it, like, and she's okay with it. So like for me, I don't feel bad sitting for 30 minutes and meditating, like going and taking a cold shower. And like if I go for a walk with her, or if I go for a walk with just the dog, and then like working out, whatever I end up doing, I think that time alone in the morning puts me in a better spot for the whole day. And I think she's aware of that. So like they're like just working that into whatever our day is, like whatever our schedule is, no matter what we're doing, like I still take that time in the morning to make sure that I do that, because it just in the long run benefits both of us.
I love that about you though too. Yeah.
And sometimes I like to go home and sleep with the dog sometimes. I'm just like, babe, I need a night alone.
No, I get it. Yeah, and that's important, because I think a lot of people these days struggle with kind of that codependency of, if we're not together every single night, then the relationship is in shambles, right?
Yeah.
And I think that's a good segue into my next question, which is like, you travel a lot and you have a lot of work commitments, and so do you. How do you guys balance that trust of maybe not being able to be in the same room together, but making it work and making sure that person knows that they feel safe, they feel trusted? Because I think for every couple that's different, right?
Mm-hmm.
So how do you manage to be open and honest about that trust with each other? I mean, with everything kind of swirling around and like just the hecticness of life in general, right?
I think on the days that we're not together, I like to write, and I know she likes when I send her a nice message. So that's always like my thing. Mm-hmm. Like in the morning, like when she's at work, like just letting her know that like thinking about her. I know she's busy and I'm doing my own thing too. So like it's fine. We'll reconvene later, but like just throwing that out there so she knows, you know.
No,
yeah, we definitely have
we
great
communicate.
We have great communication like throughout the day, and it just feels secure. And I feel like I love reading my messages in the morning. But yeah, I feel like it's just our open communication that just helps me feel just safe and secure. She's
also a very big planner. Like she organizes everything. So like we know kind of ahead of time. Like I know the weekends, especially in the mornings, she's going to be super busy for weddings, and like we might not have the time to be together then, but like I said, I'll say something nice, like a good morning message before she goes to work, and then like when she gets done, like we know we're going to hang out then. So like there's no point in stressing about it or worrying. Like she's doing her thing, and like I'm going to take my morning and do my routine. Maybe I'll hang out with you. We'll do a podcast or something. Like I think the thing that's very different about this relationship for me is like I can do things on my own and like not feel like I need to be with her all the time. And then when I am with her, everything is just like the way I want it to be. But like when I'm not, like I know that we're in a good place.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I'm definitely all over the place with work, but I feel like we usually have a plan on the calendar of when we're going to see each other next, or like it's just organically going to happen that way. Like he said, after work, he'll just meet me at the house or whatever.
Yeah, but I think there's definitely like a difference between kind of just like being in a relationship and kind of like willy-nilly hanging out when like, it just kind of naturally happens. And like obviously when you're together that does happen. But I think there's probably with something between the two of you guys that helps with that, like, okay, well, it may be Wednesday and I'd really like to see you right now, but I know you're really busy, but we have plans to go to dinner Friday or to do this or to do that or whatever it is.
And just like touching base throughout the day. And I feel like if I'm traveling or away for like a few days in a row where I'm working nonstop and can't, we can't see each other, then we'll, maybe have like a FaceTime or like a quick call in the morning, like, which is always nice to just kind of like reconnect and chit chat.
Gotcha. Okay, that's awesome. I love that for both of you. Now we're gonna get into some of the juicy stuff. No, I'm kidding. I'm still going light. Like, what's your guys' favorite thing to do? Like to spend quality time together. And it's for both of you. Like, you don't have to agree on an answer.
For me, it's like anything. Like, I just like being around her. But like, I do really enjoy like when we go.
Man read the playbook beforehand. Yeah, no, I know. I get it.
No, like,
No.
what I do though. But like,
Yeah.
I think like when we're like eating together, like she's always like she'll like make me something, and like I know that there's like thought and love that goes into that, and then like I like to do the dishes afterwards, like where it's very cohesive, where like
He does always.
we're
do the
both
dishes.
getting something out of it, and like. I enjoy that time together, and then like I said, like going for walks and stuff because we do that a lot.
Yeah, for me it's quality time. I feel like we could be doing anything. We could be sitting on the couch doing nothing or just
So adorable, but like
I love going to the spa. We love going to the spa.
no, because it's obviously like it's just like I'm just glad that we're together.
I think going on our walks.
Going on walks. See, that's a good one. And like I like that because
Going
you
on walks
both
together.
answered like very simple things.
Yeah.
It wasn't like when we go stay at the Sphere in Vegas, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It was like
She does want to do that.
Yeah, I do want to do
I feel
that.
like that's why that came to my mind because you brought that up to me.
I do want to
No,
do
but
that.
like going on a walk or like
Yeah.
or just eating dinner together or cooking or whatever it might be, like right, that's what life comes down to, is like those little simple things. Are there any like specific lessons that either one of you can point to that the other person has taught you since you guys started dating?
I know that I can tell her anything and like it's judgment free. And I really appreciate that about her. Like we can talk about anything. I can be really open with her and honest, especially when something's bothering me or like I just need to explain something so she understands where I'm coming from. And like that's very big for me. Just the fact that like I know when I have a conversation with her, it's like no judgment. You know what I mean? Because sometimes I feel like a lot of people worry about that, even when it's with your significant other, like, especially because it's your significant other, like, you don't want to feel judged by them. And she's just very good at, like, I know you're never going to judge me for anything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, you teach me a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
Just like about myself. Like I feel like just being more patient with myself and being more like, I don't know.
Crazy that you're kind of saying that I taught you patience because I used to be like the least patient person.
Yeah. But I feel like I am impatient a lot of the times, and I feel like whether like even just in my work life, like I feel like you help me with that too. Just like, or not like being too hard on myself either. Like I feel like you help me kind of like re-regulate or kind of come back to like what's important or why I'm doing something, and just like, I guess, be more patient with whatever I'm kind of navigating or going throughout. And even when it comes to like us together, I feel like it comes back to just communication and just being patient and not, I don't know, patience.
Yeah. Patience is a wonderful choice for that answer.
Yeah.
You're thinking on the spot. It's all good. Yeah. Like I'm throwing some stuff at you. Don't overthink it. Obviously, you guys are in the beginning part of your relationship, which is, as we all know, the fun part, right? The honeymoon phase, or whatever everybody calls it. But I'm sure that everything that you guys have gone through hasn't been perfect dynamic. So like if there's conflict or they feel like there's something you need to communicate to the other person that I would just say is like uncomfortable, how do you guys go about handling that?
I like to write things down. Like, I feel like if something's bothering me or on my mind, like, I'll maybe like write it in my notes app, and then kind of just like when we're together, like in person, is when I'd want to like address something that might be bothering me or on my mind. And then I kind of just like approach it just like, you know, something that's been bothering me and I just want to talk about it. He's so receptive of listening to just, you know, anything that's going on in my life. So I feel like, you know, as long as he's in a good headspace, which is usually the case, I just go in and I might read what I wrote down and let him know, and he just understands. Like, I feel like you're very understanding. And then we just like figure out how to move forward and how to navigate it. And like, you know, if something's making me uncomfortable or bothering me, like, we'll just kind of move forward and make sure that doesn't happen, I guess.
Yeah, no, I agree.
Yeah.
That's definitely communication.
Yeah, it just goes to communication. Like, I feel like that's just so important. I've never been good at like holding things in, or like I have like body language like that, like can just I just wear it on my legs. Like, it's almost like not being able to like act like normal or like happy, like if I have something that's like bothering me or I need to get off my chest. And I feel like with him, I just like feel safe and like okay to do that, like, you know, as soon as I feel like I need to. And then you're very responsive and understanding, and I feel like that's what you need.
I think our communication is like, for me, I know it was something that I was always bad at in the past, and because she's so important to me, like, I don't want to be bad at it now. I think a big part of the reason that we communicate so well is because it comes back to like meditation for me, and like knowing like when I feel something coming up to just be like, because like when it's complicated sometimes to be like, hey, I want to talk to you about something, like, because immediately your brain's going to go to like the end of the world, and like sometimes that'll pull up emotions and it'll make you feel things in your body. And I feel like when she's talking to me and trying to explain something to me, for whatever reason, when I'm listening to her, like, I'll be in my head and I'll be like, don't react right now. Just breathe and let her talk, because this is how we work through this. Like, instead of yelling about it and not like trying to avoid the conversation, like, we actually have the conversation. And like, even if it's uncomfortable, like, just sit there and be present in the moment and let her say what's on her mind, because that's the only way we're going to move forward in this, you know. And I just want you to be happy.
It's kind of like choosing that future success in the relationship over the uncomfortable moment that's going to happen right now, because I have to talk about something that's tough, or
I think it also,
you don't know how they're going to react.
Yeah, I think also it's like the way you bring something up, or like the tone. Like, I feel like also, like, if there's something like on someone's mind and you immediately like kind of like talk about it, like, it could be like in like an attacking way or in like a uncomfortable way, like just like abrupt. And I feel like I very much, when I address something like that, like come very level-headed, like, this is why it's bothering me, like, give the reasons, like, and then I feel like that opens up just like him, like, he's not gonna get, like, he doesn't get mad at that. It's like, oh, like, okay, I understand, like, and then we just go from there.
She mansplains it to me.
My next question is about gender roles. No, I'm just kidding. That would be funny, though. That would be funny. Okay, this is a good one. So then, when either one of you has kind of had a bad day, or maybe you're not in a great space, how do you guys go about like supporting each other? But also, I think there's a key element to that, which is how do you go about supporting each other without taking on the other person's emotional stress?
I think for me, instead of just trying to fix whatever is bothering her, I think it's easier to let her talk herself through what's bothering her, and then offer like counsel, like whatever.
Counsel, Mr. Mansplainer.
Okay.
Yeah, and then, like, just, you know, like, let her kind of work through it on her own, but let her know that I'm there for her while she's going through whatever it is. Because like, I could try and fix it for her, but like, what's that do? Like, And if I can't do it and it's not making her feel better, then I'm just going to get frustrated, and then neither one of us is in a good headspace. So I think it's kind of just like I do what I can for her, and if there's something I can't, like if there's something she has to do on her own, I like just give her the space to do it, you know?
Yeah. Like just being always like open to talk about anything he wants. Like I feel like I'm always just available and open to like help him work through anything. Like I always want to be there to support and help him, and also giving him space if he needs it. Like, and just reminding him like of all the great things that may have happened that day, or like I feel like I try to also talk about just like the positives, which is hopefully helpful, and like, you know, depending on the situation.
Yeah. Reinforcing things to be grateful for. Like it's not the end of the world. She like puts it in the very wider spectrum.
Yeah.
No, I mean, what I feel like we kind of keep going back to is that just like, and it's not even necessarily dedicated just to relationships, but just kind of like your friendships and your family and all sorts of stuff alone, which is like talking about things and bringing things up to the forefront. In my opinion, it's always going to give you clarity, and it's always going to
100%.
Yeah. So it's like, so talk to your partner, talk to your friend, you know, like, it's,
well, I think the opposite is
just
just going to cause resentment and like that's
awkwardness, dishonesty,
uncomfortability. Like,
yeah, exactly.
Where it's just like communicating can kind of just like surpass all that. It's just like figuring it out.
But, and even if the communication doesn't go as maybe you'd hoped, at least like you feel like you got something off your chest or whatever it is. Awesome. I feel like you guys have kind of touched on this, but like, what would you say is the thing that you appreciate most about the other person since you've gotten to know them better? I know it's hard to pick one thing.
Like what he's done for me, or like him as a person.
Like a quality.
A quality that he has.
Yeah, I would say a quality.
Like just your self-awareness, your awareness for like everything around you and just yourself. I feel like that I admire so much about you, and always have, like since, you know, even since while we were friends, like just on your journey, like through wellness. And then just like realizing like how much work you've done on yourself and how amazing I think you are.
She's just hot, like, you know, like how could I pass that up?
we really can't miss an opportunity for a joke on this, and you're learning it now.
No,
we held it in for so long.
She's like, look at her, she's just really hot. Like.
Thanks, babe.
No, I mean, like, what I do really appreciate, like, a quality is, like, it's how supportive you are. Like, you're always, I think the way that you, like, get vulnerable sometimes and trying to show me that it's okay to, like, talk about things or, like, for us to, like, work through something is, like, I really appreciate that about you. How like open we can be, and like how supportive you are of us being open with each other.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to get like a sound effect for this episode. That's like the crowd at like the game shows when like the couple and it's like, aww, like all together, aww. All right, yeah, no, I think this is going great. I'm really appreciating how vulnerable you guys are about your answers.
He's about to ask us something crazy. Here comes who hurt you.
No, not really. I mean, like I said, we're kind of like freestyling on this. I've never interviewed like a couple together.
Yeah.
But I'm grateful to you guys for trusting me to do this. And it's also just been very exciting getting to know you better. Like, I feel like I've learned a lot more just in doing this podcast. Yeah. You know, I've talked about how you guys met and what has transpired so far, but like, what excites you about the future of this?
Just the prospect of the future, everything that's like possible. I also like am very interested in like watching her grow and how she's going to expand with the business, because I know that's something she's super passionate about. I also like am interested in watching her slow down and like go through a phase in her life where she's not running around working a million weddings every year and like doing all of that, and just, you know, just getting to know her more and like having a future together and like planning out that life, like no matter what it is, you know.
Yeah, I think that we're just so on the same page about what the future kind of like looks like for us, even if we like don't know where we want to go or don't know where we want to live, but like I feel like we just know that we're gonna do it together, and yeah, we're gonna grow my business. And he's just so supportive of that too, which is really special.
Stay at home with the kids.
That is his plan.
That is my plan.
You guys familiar with the film Mr. Mom? Honey, I Shrunk the Kids, maybe? Oh man, no, those are good answers. Okay, this is also an interesting one, I think. Both of you guys have, me and you have the podcast, and you've had a social media presence much longer, being vulnerable with yourself. I think a lot of people are curious about this because it's something that people talk about all the time now, which is like, how do you guys, in terms of you as a couple, what's appropriate for you to post and what's private for you to? Like, do you feel any pressure to share? Like, a lot of people feel that. A lot of people feel the pressure to like feel or show on social media platforms that their relationship is going well. So how do you maintain being genuine on those platforms, being in, from my point of view, a happy relationship?
I feel like I don't feel pressure to like do that or like share something. Like I just like to share my life, and also just like feel like I'm pretty authentic and genuine, like on my page as I would be. Like, of course it's a highlight reel, but like I also don't mind like talking about tough things online if needed, but I don't really feel like pressure. I just like feel chill. Like when it comes to social media, I also feel like I've been slacking on my social media lately, so that's something that I need to work on. But I just enjoy sharing my life and what's going on, and I'm happy, so I share it.
Yeah.
I mean, for me, like, I kind of just like only post what I feel like is important to me, and you can kind of see that. It's either like quotes from Mike that I'm like sick, like this is what I'm living by today, like stuff with her, or like, the tribal chief, and then like the podcast. Like I kind of stick to like my 4 things that I rotate around, and that's all I post. And like sometimes you'll see me running. But I mean, for me, like social media like isn't, I don't know. I kind of like, she'll probably say that I sit on my phone too much, but like it's just like I watch wrestling videos, so like I feel like I don't use social media in the same way that other people do, where it's like kind of an attention grab or like something like that. Maybe in the past I did, but like now I kind of just like, I'll post what I want to post. Like most of the time it's just going to be something of like I said, the podcast, or like us, like, and that's what I'm comfortable with, like.
I feel honored to be on the same level as Roman Reigns with you with the podcast. You should too. You should feel very honored.
I mean, he's also a very important part of our life.
We watch wrestling every Monday.
Yeah, Monday. What's the other day? Friday.
Friday.
Yeah.
We watched wrestling on Saturday, and she was like, "This isn't normal wrestling," and I was like, "It's not. It's pay-per-view."
He's like, "How could you tell that it's not
like,
normal?"
The ring's
I'm like,
different. The announcers are different. She's like, "Randy Orton's actually wrestling."
That's a beautiful thing. Like, so what you're saying is that the key to your relationship is that she'll watch wrestling with you once a week.
Yep.
All that, fuck that, communication. Communicate to me that you can watch Monday Night Raw with me.
That's what we're at in life.
But I feel like that's a good question, which is that like, okay, so like if like you genuinely enjoy the wrestling.
I mean,
I'm asking.
I'm chilling. It's cool. Like that's fine.
That's all. No,
like I don't know their names, but like I'm watching it with him, and I know he loves it, so it's like fun, and we're just hanging out.
It's like when we were at the concert and you were watching me.
Yeah. Joy, childish.
Yeah,
Exactly.
I was
like, that's dope.
That's
He's
awesome.
having a great time.
Is there something like comparable to that on your end?
I listen to her talk about matcha all the time. Like anything that she wants to talk about. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
For me, it's a lot of work related, like business stuff, like back end, like work. So.
I'm
Yeah.
just super supportive. I'm like, do your taxes. They're due.
I do need to do my taxes.
Do your taxes because wrestling is on tonight. And if you're thinking about it during wrestling,
Yeah.
that's awesome. You'd love to see
It's
it.
like, I didn't think we were going to talk about wrestling in the
No,
relationship podcast.
it comes up often enough on our podcast.
I was gonna say you probably chime that into it
Yeah.
sometimes.
Zach's going to love that part.
Yeah, that's awesome. See, they can be happy together. See, she watches wrestling with him. Have there been any like specific moments since you guys started dating that you can point to that you feel like was a monumental moment to bring you guys closer together?
On Father's Day, she brought my dad chocolate-covered strawberries, and I'd never seen anybody care about my family like that, let alone my dad. And, like, not only did she bring him chocolate-covered strawberries, but, like, the whole day when I was telling her to come over for Father's Day, we walked around Beacon, and she's like, I gotta get him a gift. Like, I gotta get him a gift. She's, like, trying to buy him exotic cheeses at the cheese shop. I was like,
what
he
does
likes
your dad
Munster.
like?
Like, I don't know.
He likes olives.
The effort that she put into, like, getting to know my family and then like be comfortable around them was something that was super important to me, because where I am now, like I think I've talked about it enough, like my close relationships and then my relationships with my family is what's most important to me now. So that was big.
Yeah.
What I do.
Well, even your open and willing and wantingness to like meet my family has been like, I'm excited about that.
Yeah.
You've been talking about it, which is exciting, and we're going to Florida this weekend. So I feel like I am excited about that. But I mean, you do everything. Like I feel like you do all the things every day that like I would want and love like in a partner. So you're pretty great. You are.
Thanks, babe.
Yeah. Trying to think if there's there's definitely specific things, just like thoughtful like little things. I think that like even just in a message, like acknowledging something that may have happened like earlier that like was really special, like just you kind of like bringing that back up, or I felt some type of way, like you acknowledging it, and like whatever it is, like we're working on and we're in it together. So
I know you said that there's like a lot of little things. Is there like, because I'm just always curious about these things. Was there like a specific little thing that may have might go over anybody else's head, but that to you was like a big thing?
I don't know if it's necessarily like a specific circumstance. I guess I feel like I see that like just like even in the growth of our relationship, like from maybe several months ago where just like communication might have not have been as strong. Now I feel like whenever we've like talked about something that, you know, maybe like he's frustrated or whatnot, there's just been so much growth of like now understanding. You know, I feel like one thing that is special to me is like when, like, if I know he's getting frustrated or something's bothering him and I'm like, well, in that moment, like, can you just, you know, ask me like, or tell me like that, you know, give me, it's kind of like a code, but not really. It's like, well, can you like say it in a different way? Like, just so I know that like, whatever it is that we're talking about, like, or, you know, having like maybe like a little confusion, and then like he'll do that. He listens. Like I feel like that's something. Like, yeah. Like he listens and remembers. Like if, you know, something that we've
2 ears, 1 mouth.
Yeah, we talk about that all the time.
But yeah, like I feel like you just like he takes into consideration like what I say and like what, you know, like conversations that we have, and then in the future like it shows that that's how we kind of like just address something going forward. Or, you know, like I know you talk about too on the podcast, like if you're like defensive or like if you get like easily frustrated or whatever, like I feel like more so now than ever, like you recognize like if you are, and just like take a deep breath and then we just talk about it. And like I feel like we've had a lot of growth in just like little random things, like nothing serious, but just like something that might like just tumble into like a frustration or like upsetness, like, and I feel like we just have grown so much just in that, right?
Yeah. For
There's
sure,
always going to be
100%.
problems, right? It's not the end of the world, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, those are good, really well thought out answers. I appreciate that. I don't have much left to ask you guys. Okay, whether they're in a relationship or not, what do you hope that people get from this episode where, you know, a couple sat down and got vulnerable about their relationship?
So I think for me, like we say a lot on this podcast, is like when you sit down and have these conversations, oftentimes at the end of it, like you feel way better, and like you also feel more aligned with the person. Like me and you have talked about it, how like when you get done doing one of these, like we've very much just had like a real conversation, and like you kind of feel a better connection to somebody after. Having her on was important because now like we have that connection, like we can talk about anything, anywhere, anytime, you know? And then I think that's what I would tell people, is just to have conversations like this and communicate, like work on communication. It's the biggest thing, you know? If you're not telling somebody what's bothering you, or like giving them the information that they need to be able to understand where you're coming from, like nothing's ever going to get resolved or move forward. And like I feel like that's the biggest thing that I would hope somebody takes away from this, is just like being open and having that open conversation with somebody about whatever it might be, whether it's about relationships or just about friendships, whatever it is. Like when we sit down and do this, just inviting other people to go have conversations.
Yeah, I completely agree with that. Like, I feel like it just goes back to the communication. I think communication is key, and like also just like being able to kind of regulate like your own emotions and self before you do that, instead of just like lashing out. So I feel like just like working on like yourself personally. And I also think that you can work on yourself just as much in a relationship as you can like not being in one. Like, I don't think you have to be alone for X amount of time to like be in a healthy relationship. I think that like when the time is right, and just with us being also so like self-aware and working on ourselves like individually, I think it helps like us as a couple and the communication like completely. So, yeah.
That's all, folks.
Nice. You guys rehearse this beforehand? Like what?
No.
This man stole my notebook, maybe. No. Yeah. Thank you guys again for trusting me to do this.
Yeah.
You know.
Thanks for being such a good curator.
And really, it's like, thank you. I appreciate that. But really, it's ideal. It's like it's our podcast. So thank you so much.
Thank you for having me.
For having me running
this
this.
has been fun.
Yeah.
Part of your world.
I apologize for all my bad jokes throughout the podcast.
That's all right.
It's all right. No, you're supposed to say that we're good. You're supposed to say that we're good jokes.
Those were great jokes.
They were great jokes. Everybody's admiring the lighting setup that we have.
Yeah,
going on.
and we barely like tried.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
They probably think that we're famous.
Yeah.
Yeah, you are. Look at your Instagram following.
That concludes part 2 of this. Thank you guys for listening. Anything else that you guys want to?
Oh, we have a Whoop sponsorship. Please sign up. We get $50.
Yeah, the link.
And you get a
the
free
link will
month.
be in our description.
Work on your fitness.
Yeah.
We'll drop an ad and actually go over what to do with it.
Yeah, that's coming soon.
Anything you want to add?
No,
No? Okay.
I don't think so. I approve that message for Whoop. Big fan.
Yep.
Awesome.
Sick.
Yeah.
All right.
All right.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
don't think so. Thank you guys again.
Yeah.
You're
Thank
welcome.
you so much for coming on. And for letting us use this wonderful space.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Shout out
Yeah.
Elixxr.
This may be our most aesthetically pleasing episode yet.
I love to
For
hear
sure.
that.
And Vic is gonna be mad.
Oh, no.
All right. Okay. Thanks again.
All that glitters and gold. I had money been broke. I've been